Hi, this is Miguel, and I'm here to show you today how to tie a fly that I usually like to use dry fly fishing. It's a Caddis emerger pattern, and I use this primarily on a size 14 hook. Today we're going to use a size 14. And materials you'll need for this fly are white Antron yarn, all-purpose deer hair. This is dyed light, bleached, and also a light color of Antron dubbing. And that'll work well to give the overall fly a light appearance. And I also use a light colored thread, so I'm using here Unithread 6/0 yellow. Pretty standard size thread, pretty standard color. You can pick it up pretty much anywhere. So we're going to start our thread at the front of the fly near the eye of the hook and wrap back till we reach the end of the shank. Then we're going to go ahead and pull out our Antron yarn and clip a bit off, as you can see here, and just go ahead and tie that in anywhere. You don't have to measure anything out yet. Just put a few wraps in. And we're going to go ahead and wrap the Antron yarn, create a little thickness for a body on the shank, and go ahead and trim off excess and wrap back to the end where the tail is. Once we reach the tail, we'll measure out about the length of the shank or the body of the fly and match that length for the tail. The next step would be to grab some light colored dubbing, either a sand or cream color. Any of these light Antron colors will work, and go ahead and just pick some out and twist it right onto the thread here. Then go ahead and wrap the dubbing from the end of the fly right on up. Go ahead and dub all the way up to the eye of the hook, and then wrap back to about 3/4 of the way up the hook shank. At this stage, we only have one thing left to do, which is add the light bleached deer hair. So I like to trim out a good hunk of deer hair. I prefer more deer hair just for more flotation on the water. And once you've trimmed your deer hair, see I've got a good bunch here. I like to kind of slide it out through my fingers like this in a fanning motion. And what that allows me to do is then pluck out a lot of underfur that might be in the way of the individual fibers and make it harder for the wing to tie in to the fly once it's finished. and it'll make the wing itself more durable and long-lasting. So once you clean out the under hairs, go ahead and bring the fur back together and put it in your hair stacker. Give it 3 good taps, or 4. Now at this stage, I like to measure out the length of my wing for this caddis. Now, normal caddis are tied with usually a hackle body from here up, and this one doesn't. And being that it's an emerger pattern, I would recommend a shorter wing, because the fly is appearing to have just emerged from its shell or its casing, and this tail is an indicator of the egg sac that it's coming out of, or casing. So the shorter wing would work better for the emerger pattern. Now once you measure your short wing, I like to just stick it right on here and measure, then take the amount of length you want and trim the excess in the opposite manner. So now we end up with just the amount of wing I want, plus a little more for it to lay right on top, and I can wrap my thread around that now. So I'm going to go ahead and give it 2 wraps lightly, and then I'll kind of crank down on it for the 3rd and 4th wraps, and those will kind of bring in the 1st and 2nd wraps that I had, and at the same time keep the fur in the position I want it in, so it doesn't go spinning around the hook. Once you've tied in your wing, there's only one step left, which is to do a whip finish and call it good. Now I'm just trimming any excess hairs that are stray and on the bottom are generally unfavorable because they're kind of stragglers. And that is what I call a caddis emerger.
Now when the sun come up, I'll be there to say what up in the morning. Brush my teeth, find that clip I've been looking for since last night. I feel so caught up.